Glannam as a civilised land is a relatively new addition to the social political landscape of northern Citizen, a frontier land typically home to barbaric Bothy tribes and small villages of forward settlers. The evolution to a country rather than that of an untamed frontier came with the slow growth of villages in a land rich with natural resources, but also with an unyielding cold and foul beasts. Glannam, the capital and one of two true human cities of Glannam, lies on the Arden River, the boundary between Glannam and the southern country of Carsevilla. Glannam reached its size notably due to the trade to Carsevilla, primarily of pelts, silver and Glannam iron. Glannam has not been without strife. The widespread nature of its settlements in the north and subsistence outside of regularly travelling merchants means news travels slowly and villagers are prone to attack. 103 years ago, in the year of 487, a horde of orcs swept down from the central Glannam mountains, moving westward, burning and pillaging the few towns in their path before turning their attention south. Retaliation was slow, and although Glannam possessed a commendable number of combatants for its size, mostly hunters, trappers and rangers, the only army, and a small one at that, which could be raised belonged to Glannam, and was not large enough to fight back the orc onslaught. The dwarves at Ironmaster to the north were too far away, and were fighting their own battle against the orc horde. Their campaign was successful, and would begin pushing further south to eradicate the ancient enemy. But it would come too late. The Duke of Glannam and de facto ruler of Glannam, Duke Mayor Oscar Ondwin, requested aid from Carsevilla. The Arthur, King Volkmaronold, promised aid at the cost of vassalage. With naught to do, the Duke Mayor Ondwin agreed, and the Carsevilla military descended, crushing the orc horde with regiment and training. In the years that followed, Glannam paid tribute to Carsevilla, with tithes levied, and raised an army of their own to better defend should another attack arise. And their rulership did not sit well with the free people of Glannam. The sovereignty of Carsevilla was cemented, with Arthurian marriages to Duke Mayor's bloodline, which over time became less of a disorganised meritocracy and shifted towards the monarchic rule employed in Carsevilla. The Council of Town Elders still exists, but in more of an honorary role within the rulership of Glannam. In the year 586, the son and heir of the Duke Mayor, Andred Ondranold, was not pleased with this rulership system, believing Glannam to be deserving of its right to be a free country, and conspired with the man who would be called the Bastard King in the forthcoming blood-right civil war of Carsevilla, Benedict of Lockmere. When his poorly father finally passed from natural illness and Andred Ondranold ascended to the throne of Glannam, the blood-right civil war began shortly after. Andred pledged troops towards the separatists in Carsevilla, who were led by the Bastard King, in return for a free country, a right Andred claimed immediately, despite Benedict Lockmere being in contest for the throne, and without the right to bestow such things. However, the rebellion was quelled by the Arthur, King Julius Renaud, and the Bastard King was killed in the year of 589. The Lockmere family was removed from stewardship of the crown, and their family small and without station. However, the Arthur's armies were in tatters. Andred Ondranold had claimed a free land for Glannam and reinstated the Council of Town Elders, while keeping the sovereign position and title of Duke Mayor for himself, though he cast aside his previous name and called himself Andred Ondwin in honour of his ancestors. He also accepted a number of Carsevillian separatists into his country, including the infamous Edver von Resthaven, a warlord and military counsel to the Bastard King. Von Resthaven and his loyal band of soldiers killed the stone giants that had taken over the mine town of Lork, and claimed it as their own. Without political support and armies to assist otherwise, the Arthur accepted Glannam's sovereignty, under the one condition that the Duke Mayor contemns and delivers the traitors he allowed into Glannam to the Carsevillian capital, for punishment for defying the crown. And wanting to anger the separatists or the Arthur, the Duke Mayor condemned the separatists, many of which have now become roving bandits, or have disappeared entirely because of such actions by the Duke Mayor, but cannot bring his recovering military, or perhaps will not bring his recovering military against them, instead placing bounties upon their heads for capture. Many have been captured, but von Resthaven has not gone quietly, turning the small Violin village into a fortress and calling himself the Outlord. It is the year 590, and in light of lack of commitment to the promise and desire to take back what once was his, the Arthur is slowly turning his attention back to the vassalage of Glannam. Despite the advice of the town circle, the Duke Mayor will not bend a knee to the Arthur again, and tensions begin to rise. The Duke Mayor wishes to avoid conflict, but will not become vassal once more to Carsevilla, and deliverance of the outlawed will no longer quell the tension. And despite all the political turmoil, there still lies the threat and the danger of the savage land of Glannam to deal with. This wild land of cold and beast, both fair and foul, is not easily brought to heel and pushes back against human advances. This savage frontier will not be tamed by the meek, and only the strong survive. Are you strong enough?